Hello champions and happy Thursday. Today we're going to spend some time reviewing for your Unit 3 test. I know you're going to do an awesome job on your test, and so does Mr. Smiles. Let's dive right into our video. We've talked about several things in this unit. The first we've talked about is unit rate. Remember, unit rate is the amount per one. We can use tables to help us solve unit rate problems. Jamie drives 315 miles in 5 hours. Draw a table to help solve the problems. So I'm going to write hours on the left side of the table and miles on the right side. I know that I can fill in 5 hours and 315 miles. Now let's look at the first question. What is Jamie's speed in miles per hour? So how many miles can Jamie travel in 1 hour? What operation do I need to use to find this unit rate? I need to use division. Go ahead and find the number of miles Jamie can travel in 1 hour now. Jamie can travel 63 miles in 1 hour. So that's the value of the ratio. Remember, I can divide by 5 and divide by 5. That means that I can multiply every row across by 63. Let's answer the next question. How far can Jamie drive in 6 hours? Well, what operation do I need to use to figure this out? I need to multiply 63 times 3. 63 times 6. Go ahead and do that now. Jamie can travel 378 miles in 6 hours. Now let's answer another question. How many hours would it take Jamie to drive 252 miles? So I need to figure out what times 63 is 252. If you're having trouble, list your multiples of 63. Go ahead and solve that problem now. 63 times 4 is 252, so it would take 4 hours. We also sometimes need to find a unit rate that's a fraction. Let's look at another problem. Alex can read 7 pages in 4 minutes. How many pages can Alex read per minute? So let's write pages and minutes. Alex can read 7 pages in 4 minutes. I need to find how many pages he can read in 1 minute. What operation do I need to use to figure this out? I need to divide to find the unit rate. What do I need to divide by? Well, 4 divided by 4 is 1, so I need to do 7 divided by 4. How would I write 7 divided by 4 as an improper fraction? It's 7/4. Let's do another. How many minutes does it take Alex to read 1 page? Well, I'm going to write pages and minutes. And I know that it's 7 pages in 4 minutes. This time, what would I need to divide by to get to 1 page? I would need to divide by 7. What's 4 divided by 7 written as a fraction? It's 4/7. Now let's solve the last problem. How many minutes does it take Alex to read 11 pages? What would I multiply 1 by to get to 11? I would multiply times 11, so I would need to do the same to 4/7. 4/7 times 11 is 44/7. Sometimes I need to find the unit rate and then apply it. Let's look at this question. A car travels 70 miles in 2 hours. Draw a table for hours and miles. I know that in 2 hours the car travels 70 miles. I need to figure out how far the car can travel in 1 hour so that I can figure out how far it travels in 5. How could I determine how far the car travels in 1 hour? I can divide 70 divided by 2. What's 70 divided by 2? It's 35. So the car travels 35 miles in 1 hour. Now, I can multiply by 35 across the rows to find the value of the ratio. So how far can the car travel in 5 hours? The car can travel 175 miles in 5 hours. Use that same strategy to solve the next two problems. Michael can run 10 laps in 2 minutes. At this rate, how many laps can he run in 12 minutes? Make sure you draw a table to help you. Michael can run 60 laps in 12 minutes. The unit rate is 5 laps per minute. 12 times 5 is 60. Let's do another. Paul can type 150 words in 3 minutes. At this rate, how many words can he type in 8 minutes? Make sure that you draw your table to solve the problem. Paul can type 400 words in 8 minutes. We also talked about how to find percent of a number. To find percent of a number, we can multiply the decimal form of the percent by that number. Let's look at this question. Anytime we see a word problem with percents, we need to identify the percent, the part, and the whole. Let's look. A basketball team has 12 players. 75% of the players are in 8th grade. How many players are in 8th grade? I know the whole, and I know the percent. I'm looking for the part, the number of 8th graders. So I need to find 75% of 12. How would I write 75% as a decimal? 75% can be written as 75 hundredths, because percent means out of 100. And I can multiply times 12 to find the number of players. 75% of 12 is the same as 75 hundredths times 12. Go ahead and do that multiplication. What's 75 hundredths times 12? The answer is 9 and 0 hundredths, or just plain 9. 9 players are in 8th grade. Now you try too. A toy store sold 80 toys on Friday. 50% of the toys were video games. How many video games were sold on Friday? Go ahead and solve that problem now. 40 video games were sold on Friday. Now try one more problem. A fair sold 96 tickets on Friday. 25% of the tickets were sold to students. How many tickets were sold to students? I know the total, and I know the percent. Go ahead and find how many tickets were sold to students now. The answer is 24. 24 tickets were sold to students. We also learned how to find what percent one number is of another. To do that, we divide the part by the whole and write the result as a percent. Let's look at an example. A basketball team has 15 players. 9 of the players are in 7th grade. What percent of the players are in 7th grade? Well, 15 is our whole. 9 is our part. We need to divide the part by the whole, 9 out of 15, or 9.00 divided by 15. Go ahead and solve that division problem now. What's 9.00 divided by 15? It's 60 hundredths. How would I write 60 hundredths as a percent? It's 60%. So 60% of the players are in 7th grade. Now you try one. An art gallery has 25 pieces of artwork. 20 of the pieces are paintings. What percent of the pieces in the gallery are paintings? 25 is our whole, and 20 is our part. Go ahead and find that percent by dividing 20.00 divided by 25. 80% of the pieces are paintings. Now try another. A restaurant sold 12 meals at the dinner hour. 9 of the meals were steaks. What percent of the meals were steaks? Solve that now. When I divide 9 divided by 12, the result is 75 hundredths, or 75%. We've also talked about how to find a total given a part and percent. We can use double number lines to help us. Mark had 5 books on his desk. That represents 20% of the books he has in his library. How many books does Mark have in his library? Go ahead and draw a double number line. I'm looking at percents and books. I know that 20% is 5 books. To find the total, what percent am I looking for? I'm looking for 100%. I can count by 20s to 100, which means I can count by 5s on the top of my double number line. So what is the total number of books in Mark's library? Well, when I count by 5s, I can see that the total number of books is 25. Let's do another example. James has several t-shirts. 36 of the t-shirts are blue. That represents 90% of the shirts that James has in his collection. How many shirts does James have in his collection? Again, I know the part in the percent, and I'm looking for the total. I'm looking for a total of 100%, and I know 90%. 36 doesn't go easily, or 90% doesn't go easily into 100%. So I need to find a benchmark percentage that will work. I'm going to use 10%. I need to figure out what I'm counting by each 10%. To do that, I need to figure out what did I divide 90 by to get to 10. I divided by 9. What's 36 divided by 9? It's 4. So I'm counting by 4s. When you count by 4s, what is the total? The total is 40. James has 40 t-shirts in his collection. I can use 10%, 20%, and 25% to help me solve these problems. Let's try another. At the art festival, there are 8 blue paintings. That represents 40% of the total paintings. How many total paintings are there? Which benchmark percentage would be the best to use? 20 would be, because 20 goes into 40, and I can divide 8 by 2. What am I counting by in this number line? I'm counting by 4s. So what's the total? Well, the total is 20. Now you try one. Alex brought 16 baseball cards to school. That represents 80% of his total collection. How many baseball cards does Alex have in his collection? Go ahead and solve that problem now using a double number line. Again here, the answer is 20. I can also use 25% as my benchmark fractions. Go ahead and try the next question. Tyler has earned 15 AR points. That's 75% of the way to his goal. What is Tyler's AR goal? Go ahead and solve that question now. The answer here is 20. Now let's do another question. Thomas ran 12 miles on Thursday. That's 40% of the distance he wants to run this week. How far does Thomas want to run this week? Go ahead and solve that question now. Thomas wants to run 30 miles this week. The last thing we talked about was unit conversions. We can use tables to help us decide whether to multiply or divide when converting units. 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. How many feet are in 24 yards? So let's write yards and feet. I know that the unit rate is 3 feet per yard, so I can multiply across. So I can multiply 24 times 3 to find the number of feet in 24 yards. What's 24 times 3? It's 72. There are 72 feet in 24 yards. Let's do another. 1 foot equals 12 inches. How many feet are in 72 inches? Well, in this case, I need to figure out what times 12 is 72. What times 12 is 72? How many feet are in 72 inches? 6. There are 6 feet in 72 inches. I can use my table to help me. Try the next problem. 1 kilometer equals 1,000 meters. How many meters are in 6 kilometers? Go ahead and solve that problem now. There are 6,000 meters in 6 kilometers. Let's do another. 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. How many meters are in 700 centimeters? Well, I know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Answer that question now. There are 7. 7 times 100 is 700. We can also use the same logic to convert from metric to standard units. 1 meter is 1 1/10 yards. How many yards are in 8 meters? Go ahead and solve that problem now. 8 times 1 1/10 is 8 8/10. Try another. 1 kilogram is equal to 2.24 pounds. How many pounds are in 9 kilograms? Go ahead and solve that problem now. There are 20 16 pounds in 9 kilograms. The last skill we learned was how to find unit price with conversions. We already know that we can divide to find unit price. 1 foot of ribbon costs $1.44. What is the price per inch? I can see that the units are different. I know that 1 foot is 12 inches. So 12 inches cost $1.44. Now I can divide to find the unit price. Go ahead and divide $1.44 divided by 12 to find the unit cost. The cost is 12 cents per inch. Let's try another. 1 gallon of juice costs $4.96. What is the cost per quart? Remember, 1 gallon is 4 quarts. So this means that 4 quarts costs $4.96. I can divide $4.96 divided by 4 to find the cost per quart. Do that now. The cost is $1.24 per quart. Try one more. 1 pound of raspberries costs $9.76. What is the cost per ounce? Remember, 1 pound is 16 ounces. The cost per ounce is 61 cents. You've done a great job on this video. Now you can go to one of the IXL practices listed on the